everyone, welcome back to PommyInOz, or welcome to PommyInOz. I hope we're all doing really, really well. If you are new around here, you know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It does help the channel out. These legends went a step further. They went and joined the channel. You can do that there. There is a big shiny button there, and I do believe there is a link in description. So if you want to do that, we can do things like we sponsor Domaku, things like that. It allows us to really improve the content. And also, it's just a great little community, and you guys and girls are splendid. Remember, no obligation. We have got merch, and we do prints as well. PommySportsAlmanac.com.au. Check it out if you are keen. We've got some really cool melt shirts. They're just coming. They should be here sometime this week. So I'll be rocking and repping them on it. So what we're going to do today is something a bit different. Obviously, Sam Walsh has gone down, and air per you, Carlton have hit the panic alarm. I've had a lot of messages. Some people more a bit calm than others. Some people literally stressing out about it. So I thought, let's put it to bed. Let's get our analytical heads on and really try and get to the crux of if it's a problem. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is his injuries. So this injury and, like, you know, historical, what does that injury say about us? And a big thing for me is if you look through the history of these injuries and how it works out, syndesmosis, that it's a three-stage recovery, really. And also, people are thinking about Mark Murphy. If you remember Mark Murphy, he had syndesmosis. It went for a long time. You actually look at it, how we did it, we didn't treat it the same way, because obviously the first stage is the swelling has to go down before the operation. He had it almost instantaneously. Now, if you look at the big syndesmosis injuries in the AFL recently, Zach Butters, Canelio rings a bell, Danger, Neil, Trelaw, I think, had it. The two ones that were over the time frame Carlton have had massive setbacks. Stephen Canelio being one of them. It was about 14 to 15 weeks before he returned. There was massive swelling and bruising, and he did play with the syndesmosis injury. It wasn't a pre-season. Trelaw's another one. He had a setback, but he always does. Chair is an interesting one, 4 weeks, and it's very similar to this. It was done at training, picked up very early, boom, he went away. So 4 weeks. So I think with what Carlton are saying, it's on the money. It's on the money. And you can't get into the stage for me and the psyche of, oh, shit. It's quite simple for me. If you look at the players that I've recruited in that midfield, Chera and Hewitt being two, they're already better than 3 and 4 last year. So if you have Walsh and Cripps as your top two, they're massively improved. Massively improved. But it has to be a list system. And I think the most unforgotten thing that no one's talking about, everyone's panicking, Walsh is gone. Let's close the shops. It's game over. You know, no more will be the cry. You've got to look at the structure. So let's do that. So here we are. This here is something very interesting. These are the average positions. So this is genuinely at a bounce how you'll set up. Now, what you found, and people forget about this, number 7 in the comp for hitouts won, Mr. Mark Pitternet. Now, Mark Pitternet, for me, gets abuse from the Carlton fans. Everyone who's on the TDK train, everyone froths him. There is literally no evidence to froth him other than he can jump, right? TDK has data. TDK has data. Now, people say he's a bad ruckman. To finish top 7 as hitouts 1 per game says something to you if you're not dominating clearance like the 6 above him do. Your midfield is shit. Now, I'm going to tell you why. Now, on the left, we've got sides that are good, so average positions and what they do. And on the right, the blue, us, right? So what you find is Pitternet's hot zone is here, right at his feet. Now, what is interesting, Carlton's average position in centre bounces, for example, was this move here. So what you found happened was our mids would look to protect our goal side, particularly the guy starting just on outside the square. And you found that Carlton went to the ball in a defensive area. Now, what happened here? The good teams, they flood this area. And this guy here takes off. So if you watch Melbourne, they do this. They make 2 intersecting runs here out the back, so the handball is out the back. Now, what I'm pleased to tell you is if we set them back, is when I was at training, and one thing that really did stand out to me was that was Carlton's move. It was aggressive. It was Chera here, Cripps is here, and we were looking at these guys to come in, give us that outlet ball. One would come in to add that muscle to create the stoppage if need be, if we lost it. The other two were already actively looking as if we won possession. And that is it. Anticipation. Can you think outside the box? Can you back your system in? And I think that's a whole lot more important at the moment than just Sam Walsh, because Sam Walsh got us to 12th being very good. The system kept us at 12. Sam Walsh can get us to 4. The system, though, was so shit that even though you had a kid as good as Walsh, you had an injured Cripps who still finished top echelon of midfielders. They still finished 12th with a system that was diabolical, that was designed to give up possession. Now, what I'm saying is if that improves and Pitternet still keeps that, the ball's going to be there. Chair is a very handy acquisition, but the one that no one's talking about is Hewitt. And we've done this exercise recently, me, Bucky, all you lot, and Terry Degani at Blue Abroad on tiers, right? So my question is, don't get into the situation of, oh my God, we're unlucky, because I'm going to tell you something. Luck doesn't exist. Ask a sportsman. Luck doesn't exist. You don't plan for luck. If you start planning for luck, you might as well pack up shop, because there's no such thing. It's an uncontrollable. Like, I could wake up tomorrow and it rains. I can't plan for random rain. So don't have that in your plans. Control what you control. React to what you can't. And that is what we have to look at here. What can we control? So what I want to lead you to down the old garden path is the tiers, right? So a lot of the guys who are going to replace Walsh are tier 4s in my book. That was your Dows. That was your Fishers who potentially could go there. Tier 3, I had Kennedy, which creates a different dynamic. But when people talk about different dynamics, Chera is a very similar type of player to what Walsh does. They're not like for like, but what he does is he hits the ground running, he likes the ball at pace, and he looks to create something. He looks to make something happen. He's going to be a guy hanging out the front that you want to get the ball to. Cripps and Hewitt, they're going to be that on-the-ball pairing that are going to look to do it. So I think how this works in the first 4 to 6 rounds, and I'm planning for 6 rounds, I think that's fair, right? Is that they're going to do the grunt anyway, and Chera's probably going to have 20% more time doing that job than when him and Walsh would rotate it. And by looking at training, they were rotating that kind of exit strategy. Means that Dow or Fisher really now have presented an opportunity. And I loved what Michael Voss said about opportunity. You've got to change the narrative. And this is what happens with Carlton fans. They blame because they've had a bad run. It's always going to stay like that. You're never going to get out of any situation in your life if you're always like, this has always happened. If it's always happened, it's because you've done the same things. Change the narrative. Change this thing. I'm going to try something new. I am going to get out of this situation. So for me, Dow and Fish, if it's them, if it's Bam Bam, it's 4 to 6 weeks. If they can't go up a tier in 4 to 6 weeks with Hewitt, potentially Ed Kerno in there as well, and Cripps protecting you, and all you've got to do is be that run through and play a little bit expressive in a system where it looks like Voss has been very counter-offensive at the fall of the ball in stoppages, you shouldn't be on the list. Like, fuck tier 3, tier 4, tier go home. So for me, I think you're going to be looking at, and I'm looking at someone here. I remember when Hadji went down for Rangers, the criticism came to Kent. Why is he not showing us where we know he can be? And that was the focus. Get Kent playing better football. Dow here now, opportunities come. 6 weeks, sustained block. A guy that 5 years ago, was our Walsh. The hopes were pinned for him to do Walsh things. There it is. It's an opportunity. Now, can he do it? My question is if you don't have faith in any of the lists doing it, there is no point in them turning out. That's quite simple for me. If I read some of the comments, I fucking wouldn't turn up either, because you've all told me I can't do it. Why can't Dow do it? He's done it in spurts. He's now got the best midfield around him, even minus Walsh, Hewitt, fit again Cripps, who was moving very freely, I might add, and Chera is way better than Walsh, injured Cripps, Ed Kerner, and Bam Bam. Like, it just is. Do you know what I mean? Like, Walsh is a huge out. Don't get me wrong. But if you can get a fit again Cripps, and we know what he's capable of when he's fit and he's doing the simple stuff, which Voss has said he's doing, that was something I noticed. And he's pinging it out to Chera, Hewitt, Bam Bam, whoever. That is a structurally better thing. You've got to trust your system. And now what we're going to see is we're going to see a load test of the system. For me, there's two guys who just scream on the list here. Dow and Fisher. Fisher has banged the drum. He's a mid. Why can't these two do it in spurts for 4 to 6 weeks? You look at them first fixtures in the 4 weeks. Hawks and Gold Coast, they're a rabble. Carlton should beat them at this stage of their development, with or without Walsh. For me, Mackay and Wheaterin are the two cornerstones of that team in the terms of there is no replacement. Dow, he's nowhere near Walsh's level, I'll accept. But in a system, that doesn't matter. Good systems. Neil Bullen looks really tasty in a Melbourne system, and he did Viney's job 4 to 6 weeks. You look at Richmond, Jack Graham, elevated to a big leadership role now at Richmond, got his opportunity from injuries to their midfield, never looked back. Look at players like Dylan Grimes. 4 years ago when Rance went down, Dylan Grimes was Richmond's ploughman. I know a lot of Richmond guys. They slated him. He took the opportunity. This really now is an opportunity for a Fisher, for a Dow to take the Oppo under this system and cement their careers. And in an ideal world, round 6, we're like, who the fuck do we drop? That is where we are. Who the hell do we drop? And we've got to have faith that the system will change. Teague isn't there anymore. Neither is Kane Liddell. It's a new department. They're working actively. I'm bullish. Like, I don't see the point of panicking. I know people say it's self-preservation. Fuck self-preservation. You live in a world of self-preservation. You'll never, ever improve your lot in life. And I think this is a real important test for Carlton, for the players, for Vossi, and also I think momentum. I think if they can get, say, the first 6 games, they can get 4 and 2, they're going to feel good. They've done it without their best player. Imagine, just for once, we have an incoming in our side that is icing, not desperation. It's icing. So I'm really confident, and that's how I think it'll look structurally. I think particularly if Bam Bam's the guy that they use and then they spurt a player, which is what I would predict they do. It's real competitive, it's real hungry, and it's real dead around the ball. And you look at Melbourne, they did that in the finals this year, in the grand final. Pace is one thing, but fast thinking, but also stopping exits. It wears teams out. And then they ran players through. Ed Langdon had spurts on the ball. Tracker had spurts on the ball. They added that injection as the teams were tiring because it becomes a shit fest. I really feel like they've got the tools to do it. And I know Walsh is a huge loss. I'm not saying he's not. But it can be fixed. It can be fixed and it can be done. It's a big loss, but big losses mean big opportunities. And right now, Fisher, whoever, Dow, they have to do it. It's that simple now. It's that simple. Let me know who you think gets the gig and how do you think it works. Are you panicking or are you not? Let me know in the comments. We'll have a discussion about it. Until next time, Pommy out.